Social manager. Okay. Well, good afternoon and welcome to this Lifetime Impact. We are very sorry that we are starting a little bit late due to some unavoidable circumstances. And I believe you're going to be tremendously blessed by today's broadcast. Martin Luther King Jr. said something. He said, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day my 4 little kids will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by their character and by their intellect. He said, I've been to the mountaintop, I've been to the valley. I've seen things in life that should have discouraged me, but I have a dream to be fulfilled. And thank God that his dream came to pass, that today in America, that society that was very racist in tendency, today we are seeing that a black man had become the president of USA. I went to Georgia, Atlanta, and I saw the relics of this man, this great man, Martin Luther King. I went to see his house where he lived, the chairs he used. What a phenomenal individual in life. Today we are privileged to have a man, and I believe, well, somebody quote and unquote says an educationist, and I believe it's going to be of tremendous blessing to us. So get your friends, get your family members, tell them to tune in to Lifetime Impact because you are going to be blessed. Amen. Well, I want to ask my special guest here this afternoon to introduce himself and to give us a brief background of his family. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Bishop Dr. Frederick Abu Koroma. So I am Dr. Ezekiel Duramany Lakkoh, and I am educationist, as you've said. I'm an accountant and financial economist by background. And so I am a Limba by tribe.
Okay.
Yes, so my family hailed from Tonkolili district, Kafesimbia chiefdom. Mabonto village, my mom, and Makontande, my dad. So those are like there are 2 villages 3 miles apart. And so they grew up there, even though they later on went to the southeast where my mom went to school. And my dad also went to a town called Mabasike in Moyamba district. Wow. Because of during the train days, his parents were there. So my mom worked as a nurse at the police hospital for 40 years.
Wow.
Yes, even before I was born, she just retired like 3 years ago. Okay. And when we did a retirement party for her, we learned that other than the days that she was sick, she has never absent from work, and she always go to the hospital, sweep every day, wow, and pray for all the patients before she starts working. So that's my mom. And of my dad also has been a environmental health superintendent for all his years, retired as well. Both of them are alive. Okay. But one good thing about my mom and dad, as a matter of my background, they were very good and still very good Christians. And even yesterday we had a discussion when you called after service. Yesterday was Monday. So yesterday when we called, we were at home praying. So this is one thing, the luxury of being close to God is something that I got for my background. Okay. So, of course, I went to school, a story that I want to tell you, several primary schools and secondary school, and now I sit as Dean of the Faculty, it was Faculty of Management Sciences, but it has just been restructured now, Faculty of Accounting and Finance at the University of Sierra Leone, IPAM to be specific. Okay. So I also work as Managing Director of Africa Young Voices, where a company I helped Junior Navo to develop. And I also have GIT Capital, which is my company, and the Institute of Research and Policy Management. So these are finance and investment company and a consultancy company I've been running for years. So that's a brief description of what I do and who I am.
Okay, well, how many siblings do you have when you are growing up in a house? Because I learned that there were a large influx of refugees in your house. Can you give us a bit background about that?
Oh, well, very interesting. So because of, like our background, my mom was the first in our family line to come to Freetown. Okay. And my dad as well. And they were the first to go to school and attain that education level. Okay. and had a job in Freetown. So during the Rebel War, almost everybody around their family lines that were affected actually came to Freetown. You know, when they were coming in as people were coming in as refugees, so they came to Freetown and came to our house, and that's where they reside. So on the average, there was a turnover of more than 100 people that came, resided, and lived with us at one particular point in time or the other. So we had a huge influx of people coming, to the extent that we had to give up our rooms and everything to refugees, our cousins, and people that came, because their life depended on that. They could not come from the province, and when they come, they don't have place to reside. That was war. It was a time as well during January 6th when Rebel attacked Freetown. We also went to the province and stayed with them.
Okay.
So in summary, our house was full with people who came, and my family was able to provide that support. Most of them went to school while they were there. They got support from NGOs, and they were able to register. Some of them are nurses right now. Some of them got university degrees, some working as police officers. And one of them is somebody who you know very well, and I know you play a hand in bringing him up, is Amadou Kenka Kamara. He was there as well.
Okay.
And he was my uncle who played a pivotal role in my life. So I will say we lost comfort because you were in a home with your family where they should have concentrated on the kids around me and my younger brother.
Okay.
But you now have lots of people coming in that lived barely on the mere resource that the parents were making. So it was difficult for them to even concentrate on schooling, because you have to take care of the home first of all and feed them. So when it comes to paying attention to paying fees, even though they wanted to, but it was very difficult and challenging for them to do it.
Wow. Well, you are listening to the voice of Dr. Lakkoh, and I believe he has some revelations for you today to tap into, some words of experience that will help to inspire you in life. Well, Dr. Lakkoh, how did you survive in your primary school days, paying your fees or taking care of your primary school? How did you survive?
Oh, so very interesting question, Bishop. So when we are in this situation, I was really, really young, and I was in primary school. So when we are in this situation, I found myself having to work with my parents and the people that came in, because some of them were also traders. So the first story was you have to compliment your parents, because there was nothing enough. Even to provide feeding at home, you have to do something that will help them. So one thing that I did, one of the people that came, one of my aunties, best auntie, I will call her, what she was doing was to fetch woods from Big Wharf. Okay. You know Big Wharf? Yeah. So they used to go there and fetch wood. So they would go and buy hundreds of bundles of wood. So we'll carry these woods to our premise. All day, if it's a Saturday, we'll carry these woods. So I alone will travel with more than 200 bundles.
Wow.
And when we go there, so what we will do, I will take, we used to do it with axe. So you split the wood and pack them and to sell. So I used to do that, and they will pay me. So I became an entrepreneur at that age.
At an early age.
I started earning money by working. Right? So I used to take these things, work. This is something that we would have called somebody to do, because there were these fuller guys that were going around with axe to do it. But I learned how to do it. And they were scared because I was young. But I perfected the act of splitting this wood, and I was doing it, and I was earning this money and keeping it. So I was using it for my fees, and I was using it to buy stuff. And my other auntie, in the evening, she used to sell this roast cassava, right, at Patton Street, Leah Street Junction. Yeah. So in the evening, I will go with her, and we'll sell it. And I will come with her. So I associated myself with the inconvenience. Because what people would see as inconvenience, the issue of people coming into your house, crowding in, was what I converted to my advantage. So I used the skills of these people that came to survive. So I became part of them, and I lived by their skills, and I was able to navigate myself through and help my parents in the process of acquiring education. And the good story, there was a bad thing I did. That was one of the bad things. I will not be shy to say it, because I know I will not do it again. Those days, there was a ban on illegal cigarette, Cosmos.
Cosmos.
When people were selling it in hiding, calling it the ball, the ball. So one of them even gave me in the afternoon. I used to stand around that junction selling it after school, the ball. But sooner my mom realized, she stopped me immediately, and I stopped. So those are some of the ordeals. And even when we are going to school, my mom taught me to do ginger beer and rice bread.
So, how old were you by then?
Oh, I'm talking about 10, 11, 12. Yes. So I was taking these rice bread and ginger beer to school. I was selling them among my colleagues. I was also part of the Scout Association. Everybody knew me in school. And I was selling them. And I would sell and make money and take the money home, and I would get my lunch from that. So I was happy. So what the story that I got from there, sir, is that these are things that people will find unpleasant, but these are things I found very pleasant because it helped me to become what I wanted to be. I was able to redraft and retell, reorganize my story in a way where some of the difficulties, some of the challenges that will be around you will now be used I use them to create a comfort. I use them to write my story. And that's why, to me, there is no excuse as to how difficult life is, because there is always something you can do in the midst of difficulty to get a way out.
Wow, this compliment what the scripture rightly says when it says everything works together for good to them that love God.
Yeah.
So out of these challenges of life, use them as a springboard to be where you are today.
Yes.
And to realize your visions, objectives in life. That's interesting. And then you went to secondary school, you started your WASC examination, and what were the challenges that you had after you've taken your WASC exam?
Okay. So, yes, before that, briefly, just 2 seconds.
Yes.
Oh, well. During the war, this is a very important story again. I hope people in my village will listen to this. So during the war, we ran. January 6th, when the rebel came, we went around. Yeah. This was the time when we went around with the soldiers. When they saw us going around with that, they gave us ammunitions to help them.
Okay.
So we went by Tombo, and we went through Tombo. We went through the river with lots of military people, and we went to Mashaka. We were able to escape, my younger brother and I. We went to our village, Mabonto. When we went there, everybody was going to Mabonto. The town was full. And in a few months, there was no food.
You ran out of food?
Yes, we ran out of food. So within that 2 months, I learned how to do gari.
Wow, how to process gari from
How
cassava.
to process gari from cassava. So the money I went with, I went to a town called Moria, and we bought cassava, heaps of cassava. And we carried this cassava, my brother and I, on our head and brought it to Mabonto.
Wow.
We grind it, we dried it, we patched it, and got 7 bags of gari out of it.
Wow.
And when you go, people that were moving from Maboka to come to the villages to buy gari, when you go to Mabonto, the only people that had gari was me and my brother.
Wow.
So we sold these garis. I came to Freetown, bought medicines, drugs, and took the drugs to the villages, sold it, got more money, made more gari. So during the war again, while I was running up and down, still a very young boy, I became, a leon snare, hundreds of leons, because that time, hundreds of leons was millions. Yes. So I was like one of the richest boys in the town, making gari. So I survived it again. This is just the story. So to answer your question on the secondary school wars days, it was rather challenging. So I went to the Albert Academy, and I was fortunate to make good grades at the same time. Because just as I said, at times if God himself does not build your house, it's to not avail that you work hard on it.
That's right.
So faith played a part of all what I became. In as much as these things were happening, but I knew I was going to become somebody. Even as I sit there at challenges, I knew I was becoming, I know I'm going to be something that will impact on people. What? I don't know, but I know I'm already making an impact. So for secondary school, you went to secondary school, still challenges continued. The war, and immediately after the war, it was difficult. And when we went to school, sir, these were the time when you have to, there was no way you can get a textbook when there are these challenges. And I appreciate my parents a lot. And these are the biggest stories in my life because they were always there. And they led me and they grew me up in a way and manner that I will have the fear of God. So whatever I did in life was also very conscious of the fact that I have to live by the principles of God's kingdom. And I became very skeptical about bad people. I became very meticulous about going close to God and by living by the principles. That was in secondary school, was when I knew you, when I started coming to Flaming. By then, this church was not there, and Billy Hamilton is now in Australia. He was the first person to bring me to the church, and I had an encounter with you for the first time. But by then, I had your testimony when you were at somewhere around Wilkinson Road.
Okay,
or Wilkinson Road.
Yeah, okay.
And that was the story that somebody told me that helped to shape my life. That you
so?
two went through same.
Wow.
And you became, because of you held on to God, and you became somebody. So we all wanted to be you.
Okay.
Yes, so you were a living inspiration. And some of the stories in life, I told them at the Albert Academy when I was keynote speaker. I told them two stories. One, logbook, 4-figure table logbook.
Logbook, yeah.
So there was a time we had an exam, and my mom wanted to buy logbook. But you told your mom about logbook, and she said, I don't have money now because, and truly, there was no money because all what she had spent on feeding, and you have to go and take the exam, and without logbook, you cannot. So I took this logbook, somebody's logbook home, and copied that logbook. If you see, figure, but there are more than 10 million characters in logbook. And I copied it with pencil, word by word, designed it, and I wrote on the cover 4-figure pages. On this these full-scale papers, 4-figure, and I went. So when they asked me for my logbook, I showed. The next day, the principal called me to talk to the students during assembly, and he showed them the 4-figure table that I had copied. So that's just one story. So you persevere in the midst of inadequacies and got things done. And I passed that exam, and I got an excellent grade in mathematics. Again, there was a time this guy came with this. There was an economics book, a pamphlet called Becky, Introduction to Economics, Becky. So I took this Becky, and he wanted to sell. I took to my mom. My mom said there is no money now, and it was weekend. So the guy came to my house on a Monday morning knocking to take his book if I can't pay for the book.
Oh my goodness.
And he meant to have copied the 18 chapters, everything with all the. And when I showed him that I've copied, the guy said, "What? You copied the book?" So these are the true stories. So you go through it. I did not wait until I got comfort.
Yes.
So at times you don't have to wait until everything is there before you decide to be happy.
Wow.
You don't have to wait until everything is available before you have to develop yourself in life. You have to take the challenges because that's the vicissitude of life itself. That's what you have to survive. And I went to school, got excellent results, and even though there was something challenging that also concerns you, this is something I will let you know again. At every point in time, there's a time you went bad. I was always in the scripture union, but I met some friends and who taught me other things. Like I started doing sports, I started doing karate, martial arts. I'm taught Dan black belt, sir.
Black belt?
Yes, so
wow.
I am not intimidating, but I'm just saying. It's sports to me. Okay. So when they took me out to do this martial art, I became so close to the guys that I stopped going to school. Yes, so I failed for the very first time in my life, one particular term. I did not do well. So by then, my uncle came from the province and stayed in a house. And I was doing so bad that this thing was so much in my head that I don't know what went to. I stopped going to student union and everything. Scripture union. So I saw everybody else as other things, and I saw these guys as the people, my new people in my life. Something really, that was a U-turn. And two people that I will always be grateful of is Amadou Kenka Kamara. Yes, he was in this church.
Yeah, he's still in his church.
So he brought me, in fact, and Oresha Pierce, he works at UTB. She's still working there. She never knew what she played in my life. A few months ago, I told her. So do you know what they did? They went and bought whip.
Whip?
Yes.
That's gun?
Yes, and they gave me this serious beating.
Oh my goodness.
And they said, and I was like, you guys are not my parents. Who are you guys to come and say? They said, we will beat you. And Oresha was all over me. You go school tomorrow. That's you say you don't go school. You too pass mark. And they went and attacked the guys that came. And when the guys came to my house, they threw water on them. And they went. And guess what? I was so mad. I sat, and in the next 3 weeks, I went again to school, started going to school.
Wow.
And since then, it's changed for the better. And so I wonder if there was no war and there was no Amadou and Orisha, what would I have become? By then, they were bad people. So there are times the people that goes after you and challenge you to your success, you see them as very bad. But later you realize who they are.
Wow, young guys out there, this story should drive home something in the inside of you, that tough times can come and go, but tough people still remain. That in every situation in life, you must have the tenacity, to go through. It's just something very transient, It will just come and then go again. It's a transitional from where you are to where you should become. And thank God for this man. Thank God for the uncle. Thank God for Miss Pierce that gave him a good flogging, so that at least they could instill some amount of sense in him to tell him that this is not your way to destiny. Thank God for that. That's interesting. So young man and young woman, please be challenged today that you can be what this man has become today if you have a focus in life. So am I correct to say you are a fighter?
Bishop, I am a fighter and I'm still fighting. And I've just completed another fight.
You're a fighter?
Yes.
You're still fighting?
Yes, you have to fight until the day you cannot fight again.
Wow. What about that incident of that honorable? I remember that you could not pay your fees. I don't whether it was.
Oh, yes. So I went to college. I got a very good result.
You got a good result.
And we were promised scholarship. But when we went to college, so interestingly, before going to college, immediately when we took exams and we were waiting for WAEC to publish our results, I got involved in a course, ICM. So by then, I was able, my dad came and tipped in. And I went and I was working as a security guard.
At what age?
This is about 17.
17 years of age, you're working as a
And when the white guys found out I am 17, they said, no, I should not work. In fact, they took me up the house. And they wanted me to live with them and then become a father, a reverend father.
Okay.
So, yes. So, that was somewhere around Smiler Town. They had a very big place there, and these guys were Catholic fathers. They were very nice. So, but yet, what I did was, I was not prepared to be a reverend father because I was a Pentecostal, and my mom would not. So I said, no, I cannot. Let me do what I came here. But they said, okay, my age. But fortunately, during the discussion, I turned 18, and yes, so I was able to raise some money, and I did. So when I was working, what they were giving to me, far more than what they said they would give me. They were giving me extra, taking care of me. So they gave me a room downstairs. That was where I was when I took the exams. So they gave me a room downstairs. I said I want to stay out of their comfort. Because there are times when the comforts are the things that will kill your vision.
Yeah, definitely.
So I went to that room and I said, let me stay in this room because if I am up there, I will not be what I want. I will spend my life watching all movies. They had everything. They even told me to learn driving.
Wow.
So I said no. So I went to that room. After a few months, they went to the room, and this room, all the corners of the room are written formulas, my math formulas, my biology formula. When the guys came to the room, they were like, what? Okay, so yes. But what I did with that money, after I took that money and paid, I registered for ICM. There was a program in Sierra Leone.
What's ICM?
Institute of Commercial Management.
Okay.
It's the entrance for CIMA, just as how CAT was for ACCA.
Okay.
So it's a chartered accounting program, CIMA, which I did. And then when I took the ICM exam, we completed the diploma. And so I completed it. I got, the diploma was 8 subjects. I got 7 A's and a B.
7 A's, wow.
And so then Reverend Koniwan, late, the owner of Lixal, took me to Lixal and said, they have introduced the advanced diploma this year. And he said he will pay for me to do the advanced diploma as one of the first students, because he wanted a Sierra Leonean to also take part in the first exam, because he was the one in Lixal. So I went, I took the exam, I got 4 A's.
Wow.
Yes, I have the results. I will WhatsApp it to you if you want to see it. Wow. So when I got 4 A's, I was the first to complete the advanced diploma program. All over the world when ICM started it. So I was called to England. I went.
You went to England?
I went. That was 1819.
1819.
So I went and met with the owner of ICM, Mr. Ford. And Mr. Ford now introduced me to ICM, and they gave me a letter to become the regional coordinator of ICM.
Wow.
So I came now as regional coordinator with an incentive to put all the centers together and at the same time promote ICM in Sierra Leone. So I came and centralized ICM exam and did a lot of things. And two people that supported me was Reverend Koniwan and Chris Kamara is now the Secretary General of Sierra Leone Football Association. Okay. Because at age 19, we are the youngest among all these people that taught you in school. How would you put them together? But I succeeded in putting ICM together, and people that took the exams appreciated. And yes, but then the story of college now, when I went to college now, it was so difficult to pay fees. I had some money on me in my plastic bag. I was going to school with it every day. Was waiting for the scholarship. It did not come on time. And then this honorable promised to pay my fees.
Okay.
So he gave me a date, come on Saturday. I went on the Saturday. I met more than 30 people waiting for him everywhere. You know these people and their communities. So he actually called me in, spoke that he cannot talk to me now because of the crowd. Let me come on. He gave me a date. Okay. So I came on the next appointment. And I met this big crowd and Fire Force vehicle. And when I went there, his house burnt down, and he died there with his family.
He died with his family?
Honorable Mansare, by Nimbana Street.
What an unfortunate incident.
Very unfortunate. May his soul rest in peace. He wanted to help me, and on the day I went for my fees, that was the day he died.
Well, some people would have given up in life.
And I even saw one of his daughters on Sunday church. So we are all still very close. I would have given up.
Yeah, but you have it.
I felt so bad. I lost every day. And this man looked at me as somebody with future and wanted to help.
Oh my goodness.
And I did not give up. I continued. And I ended up got a scholarship. And before I completed college, I was the student union president of IPAM. I was the president of NUS, National Union of Sierra Leone Students. And I was the first Sierra Leonean to become an acting president of West African Student Union president.
Wow.
And met with Tony Blatt, Thabo Mbeki, and almost all the presidents with Gaddafi, went to Libya, sat with all of them as a students' union representative in West Africa. And so that was the level. I traveled, I'm sure I've traveled to more than 60 countries.
Wow.
And most of them was because I was a scout, because I was a student union leader, because I was in debate. So I ended up, so people are still asking me, I'm doing too many things. If I tell you how many things I've done. So people are still asking me. I remember Joabas Bango asked me in Winning Ways program how I became all of these things and ended up with a first-class degree.
Okay.
So that spirit is still in, because I used to be into everything because that was how I survived. And that was how I gave my attention to all of them at the same time, became everything in them. And I was able to make an impact in the things that I was able to concentrate on. So I thank God for that. I think that was a gift.
Wow. So you went to London, came back at age 19. And there are people who are crossing the Dead Sea, so to speak, just to go to Europe. And you came back on your own volition.
Yes, sir. And I can remember when I came back, somebody called me. And when I went there, somebody said, Lakkoh, we don't get that, so you don't know, you don't suffer. Big knocker again. And I went, I saw people enjoying. But this thing in life, if there are no challenges to life, nothing absolutely happens.
That's right.
So I saw people there. I would have stayed. There was a way. Most of the people who went there did not come back. But there was something in me. First of all, if I don't come back, others will not have the opportunity to go.
Yes.
If I don't come back, I will not have the challenge. There was a bigger thing. Life is a challenge. It's not easy. No, but if you don't suffer, you will not succeed. So the success in life does not depend on the number of times you fall, but by the appendices you take to get up.
I like that.
So you have to stand up. You have to go through it. There was you remember there was a time you preached and what was the sermon? You said you don't expect too much in life. I came here, I sat. By then we were not too much. But so I used to listen to these sermons. Another person I listened to is Chidi Okrafo. I remember he spoke about University of Tears. So you say you must graduate to the University of Tears. You must suffer to succeed in a right way. in the right way. You must do it. So I am sure these are some of the things. So that's why when we're in university, we become so aggressive in getting the right things done. People say, okay, look, you they make like one day, spy in a college. You they make like, but this is not the story. The story is you don't have to have a first class. You don't need a PhD to survive. You don't even need a degree. Okay. You just need to be hardworking, be who you are. You don't need to have a car to say you are successful. You don't need a house to say you are successful. You need to be pleased and comfortable with what you're doing. Okay. Because most people that have cars and houses and these riches around them are not happy. So happiness is not what you have. For example, I followed all what you're doing, like giving, distributing things around. You made me to be a philanthropist. I remember there was an incident at Ascension Town when you went there. I told you something. There is the man of God in you is bigger than just being limited to the head of Fleming. Okay. You are a person that the Muslim community will accept.
Wow.
The politicians will accept. Okay. The educated will accept. Okay. The non-educated will accept.
The poor will accept.
The poor will accept. Even the guys outside here, yesterday I was on the phone, I said, sorry, I'm talking to Bishop Fas Koroma. He said, you know him? I said, of course I know him. So it's even a pleasure to tell them that, we have a rapport. You normally WhatsApp me on my phone. Mm-hmm. Even though I am limited when it comes to God. So I feel very pleased to have somebody like you communicating. I discussed with your member one day. I said, I'm even texting with Bishop. He said, it's a lie. I should deep text. So this is the thing that we also want to become. You want to become somebody who will be able to discuss and engage with society. Because seriously, there are a lot of challenges now. People think that they have to have the best pictures on social media to become, for people to see them. So that's how Instagram, Facebook has destroyed the minds of young people in this, especially girls. So they are lost. And I think with that, your level of exposure and general acceptability in the minds of every Sierra Leonean, poor or rich, Muslim or Christian, I think we continue to look up to you as a role model that will change this country.
Praise God. You are listening to the voice of Dr.
Ezekiel Duramany
Lakkoh. He's the Dean of the Faculty of Accounting and Finance. Finance at IPAM. Yeah. And also is the
Managing Director of AYV. And the owner of GIT Capital.
And the owner of GIT.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I know you have a flair for excellence, especially in the area of education. With all humility, can you tell us exactly what you've achieved? Yeah, I know.
At times, I'm very scared. I'm concluding a second PhD degree.
PhD degree?
Yes, in fact, it's just to defend it now. I've published lots of academic materials in renowned journals across the world and got lots of international research accolades. So people can go to Google now and search. I have done a lot on finance, on fiscal issues, on financial economics, and I also have a couple of master's degrees.
Couple of master's degrees?
Yes, so if I should have the one that I'm completing now, then should I call it 6?
6 master's degrees?
I'm also a professional accountant. I'm a professional accountant and of 2 institutions. I'm CIMA and I'm also certified municipal credit analyst. Then I have a couple of professional accounting qualifications. But yet, so people used to ask me why I have so many diplomas and certificates. So people ask me how. I didn't even know how I got all of them because most of them were scholarships and opportunities I came across. And so what you did, I did not spend more time doing them because the opportunity cost of me going to clubs, I've never been to a club before.
Wow.
No, I've never been. So the opportunity cost. So what I sacrifice in these things is what I put in other things that I'm doing.
I learned that in economics when I was in Hong
Yes. And so at times people think I'm aggressive on the phone. I don't stay long on the phone because I'm always engaged and I don't want to take my time. If I have 18 hours to work a day, I don't want to take 16 hours talking or keeping company on the phone.
Wow.
So I spend it doing things, and so I can only engage on things that can help me to grow. I know I have to change. I have to give to people. I have been giving to people, but you cannot give what you don't have. So that is what. So on the issue of education, I believe in excellence. First of all, there was a professor at IPAM, Professor listens to say, I love impact. I love when people, I love mentors. I love people that I will look from afar and look at them and try to build up myself, for which I've always been telling you that you're one of the people. There is a place I have at IMAT, and you went and got a church around there. And even though I had involved in buying that piece of land, and somebody said it's flaming, and Bishop Fas Koroma, and that day I did not say anything again.
Opted out.
Completely. Because I have the next place after you is mine.
Okay.
So I'm only telling you. I told you yesterday. But, so the issue of impact is so important. You have to look at people. When I was growing up, I looked at Redwood Sawyer, Professor Redwood Sawyer.
Okay.
He taught me the issue of discipline, how to be disciplined and at the same time put yourself down. Kweku Hinstins, he was the managing director at NIC. This was a chartered accountant. He was the one that encouraged me to do SEMA. He was a chartered accountant, but at the same time, he was going around fetching water for his mom. He was the chief accountant at NIC. Somebody would pay anybody around the area to do that. But he did it. So humility is also important. I can still remember one of the people that Les Mosige Fadika used to talk about a lot was you.
Me?
Seriously, you can talk to Junior Navo. And of course, the respect that Junior has for years. He wanted to come to your church. Before he died, he always, if he wants to come there, your church is one of the churches he wanted to attend because he found himself his passion, so close to what you were doing. Wow. You are somebody who just like to get involved and do things, and you are like a president of the ordinary people out there. So he associated himself. I can remember he was always saying that he wants to attend that church.
I wish I knew
yes.
about that.
So this is it. So the issue of impact, the issue of people. So you have to look at people and learn from them. This is the story. And the story the mistake that people have made is, there are people you can learn from. It doesn't depend on the type of car I drive. It doesn't depend on how much money I have. It depends on what impact you have created.
Okay.
And that is also very important.
Wow.
So there's nothing like poverty. So I read a book, it said poverty is a choice. It's what you choose to believe. If you can live and you can eat and you can survive and you are happy, then you are rich.
You are rich.
So wealthy people doesn't depend only on around your environment or what.
Wow. So being rich is not contingent to the amount of cars and luxury you have around you.
No, sir.
That's interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, let's come down to AYV. I am the managing director of AYV.
Yes.
And there are so many stories about AYV. I told about them, and I have what should I say? I have believed in such lies until you debunk them, so to speak.
Yes.
Can you tell us about AYV, the history of AYV?
Okay, so this is the discussion we have. So AYV is seriously, primarily and exclusively Junior Navo's dream.
Oh,
I felt so bad because I was also very close to these rumors. And I'm happy because I know when I say things, people believe me. And I told them, I've heard that AYV was started by late Mosire because of his political dreams. And that is so much untrue.
Wow.
AYV was started by Junior Navo. In fact, he started it when I was chairman of Young Leaders. We had a group, Young Leaders. Abubakar Mese, Kamara, Mario, so many young people in different organizations, Children Forum Network, all these youth and child development organizations. We came together and developed and created and registered a group called Young Leaders. When we even launched it, Solomon Begawa went to British Council and he gave the keynote. I was the chairman. By then I was president of NUS. So we brought in some people, including Adonis Abud and Junior Navo, and we made them youth ambassadors. That's why we are calling him Ambassador Navo. So immediately after that, when he gave his statement, he said he was going to use what he have to make impact on young people.
Okay.
So we are in the same office at Shaka Stevens Street. So he called me one day, he said, Lakkoh, Ezekiel. I said, man, I get one dream, or just one for, I don't know what I go do. So he thought of starting what they call Youth Enterprise Scheme.
Okay.
youth enterprise scheme, Sierra Leone Youth Enterprise Scheme. So he wanted to give some microfinance or some things to guys to start business. And so later on, they came back and said, I want to start some media. Wow. By then, there was this media guy in the UK who he wanted to become.
Okay.
So he said he wanted to start a media, and if I can do a business plan. So I did the business plan for him.
Wow.
And I did a financial analysis on his business, Navos International. We went and took the electronic shop. We tallied everything down, took data on all what he has as stock, and wrote a plan and took it to GT Bank. So he used his house as collateral. This is why, I don't know why people say things that they don't know.
I know, definitely.
This is why I will challenge everybody. I will take the AYV's first bank statement. It was a loan that we took from GT Bank. He used his house as a collateral security. So take the loan. So he took the loan. There are people who structure the loan. One of them is Brahma. He works now at GT Bank. The other one is Alusain. He works now at Commercial Bank, Mortgage Bank, something like that. So you can call them and ask them. They structured the first loan. And it was that loan that he used and started a small radio station, one room. In fact, this room is far more bigger and more beautiful than what he started. So he started AYV newspaper with Tioniku. He was Deputy Minister of Information as the first general manager of the company. And then he had Monk as the editor, the now president for Sludge. But one thing about Junior, he has everything, but he has to know, he knows how to get things done. So that's why when we sit and the last time he said, I am the brain behind AYV, and I said, he is the brain because he was the inspiration. So he's just somebody who can get things done, and he's so passionate. He will go after everything until he got it done. I think that's an advantage that people have to learn from. Okay. And he believes in mentorship. For example, you are one of his biggest mentors, and he will never have launched AYV Channel 33 without getting you as keynote, without to do the opening. And when he did, you were, in fact, the Facebook page, your picture was the first one. So we are sorry to use you as well. So that was the story. That was the story behind AYV. So that was what he did. And AYV has been multiple loans after loan. So when he paid, he take another one to do expansion. Even the building you see today, if you go to GT Bank today and take AYV bank statement, there has always been a loan running from AYV. The only success story is because of we have concentrated on honesty, out of honesty and everything. We have managed the finances in a way that we have been able to pay each and every of these loans. So it got rich by transforming debt to equity.
Wow.
And that was how it became AYV that you're seeing today.
Debt into equity.
Debt into equity. How you take. So that's how I did my company as well. I wish I would have a whole day to teach people that they are. Yes, I've gone to. The bank has even taken me to courts because I had a more than 700 million loan with a bank privately. Because I tried to do a business and people stole my money. And by then, I lost lots of friends because people were going around. If they were even telling me, I said, well, now you lecture at the weekend for pay, we almost million. I knew I was going to pay. I knew I was honest. I knew I had the strategy. I knew it would come to pass. And it came to pass. So I used that debt and developed my company. And now people are asking, where did you get the money? Okay. Interesting question.
You are a fighter, definitely. From what you've said, it shows that you are a fighter in life.
Yes.
You don't take no for an answer.
No, you don't. Never say never, especially for things that you can get done. Wow. So even my dad, if you sit and talk to him, he will tell you that was something he learned from me.
Your dad learned from him?
Yes, because he tried to do all what he tried to do them very honestly, but it was difficult for him because he will always, like during the course of getting things done, he will always discourage, and people will come inside and take it from him. For me, I got it right, I would say, and got people involved. I've employed, one way or the other, trained through employment, more than 200 of my students. I can call them, I can give you a list of people that have gone through me, work with me, and now working for other people and making life. Yes, so that's the impact. So through there, you help them to pay their fees. I've never told this story before, but I have through this, helped lots of students to pay their fees I'm not saying they should come and ask me to pay fees. I
It's an
know,
invitation,
yes,
no?
it's not an invitation
Yes.
to treat, but it's just an inspiration. You see people in class.
Yes.
For example, I have a very loyal person working with me, Dennis Davis. They live at Congo Town here. He knows you very well. The dad knows you. So he has worked with me for 7 years. When he started working, people would say, why can't you go and find a formal job? And he said, no, I want to work with him. And he has worked with me, and trust me, he has become what he has become. I wish people know what Dennis has become. He has become a Dennis of his own making, a Dennis of his own repute and character, something that he will live by forever.
This is what the Bible says in Job 8:7, that though your beginning is small, your latter end shall greatly increase. I remember the transition for Prince of Wales School where we were in the laboratory classroom, like about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now Fleming has proliferated to different regions, all in Sierra Leone, in Africa, in Italy, in Greece. Could you imagine that? So saints of God have a sense of purpose, have a vision. That is what we are here learning from Dr. Lakkoh this afternoon rather, that you can be the success story that you want to be in life. I like Mr. Junior Navo. He's my personal friend. The other day, coming from America, I think we came from America.
England.
I came from America with my wife, but the same flight. I think he was going to London, I think, yeah, that's it. We've been friends for quite a long time. We have some different interaction. Came to my office, came to my house. And there are several times I've gone to AYB. He called me the bishop of AYB.
Yes.
And did for me program free of charge. He's my very good friend.
Yes.
So you have a very personal relationship with him.
Yes.
Very cordial.
Yeah, we've been together for more than 25 years, since I was young, and he was also a very small boy.
Oh, okay.
Even though he's older. But there is something interesting about him. I wish people will know. When Junior say, I'm going to Eastern Lions, it means he wants to make Eastern Lions. It's just that person. So at times people look at it as too much.
Okay.
At times people will look at it as too much. But it's not easy. You have to be too much at times to get to some things. Okay. So I remember somebody said, if Christians, some people like you become president of Sierra Leone, you'll be able to also make the impact. Because I have a belief. This is something I even want to write in my next book. I seriously, I've read about this economy. I've read about this economy. I've written about this economy. I understand this economy. And I can challenge anybody, any economist or anybody, empirically or otherwise, by theory or behaviorally, that it is not, you cannot solve Sierra Leone economics problem without solving the attitude problem. Wow. So the economic development of Sierra Leone is a function of the mindset of the people. And that's why you need people who can also inspire and change that mindset. If the mindset doesn't change, it will be so difficult.
Wow, that's very interesting. The mindset has to be changed. Okay.
And to me, sir, okay. So to me, the people that will change the mindsets, few people that will change the mindset are you that have so much influence on all of us.
So in other words, I am a leader of a miniature kind of a president.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I understand. You have to get involved, religiously involved in the political system, because Sierra Leone development is not a political answer. People have created the situation as if it's a political problem we have. It's not. Okay. What we have is a mindset. So even if you bring all the presidents together, if the mindset doesn't change, we still will not be able to change. And what changes the mindset is the quality of information that people receive. So people of God, be it in the mosque or in the churches, will have to talk to the people. If, for example, you cannot get serious hospitals, you cannot get serious doctors or nurses if we don't have a very serious education system. You cannot get serious accountants to change. You cannot get people seriously to work if they are not serious in what they do. And that's one reason. So people are saying, oh, okay. So when you go, if we create an education system where people create malpractice and spy, for example, then you spy and become something that you are not. Wow. And at the end of the day, we all have to go to Ghana to to do medical, and we are running from our same systems. Somebody was saying yesterday, oh, these hospitals, they were doing operations, somebody died because the generator, electricity went off. Hey, government should buy generator for all of the hospitals. I say, okay, let us look at this again. Most of these big hospitals that you're seeing, they've provided generators for them, government after government. Even NGOs have provided generator. But when you provide, there was a time I went to a hospital, the generator went out, and the generator man was not there. And somebody came to put on the generator, and the fuel was not there, even when we were bought fuel. It is not about buying the generator. It's not about buying the agricultural machines to take to the villages. It's about who are receiving these machines and what are they doing with them. Okay. If these machines landed on the wrong attitude, then the output will be very negative. So this is what we have been suffering from. The attitude is not able to translate to national development. For example, take for instance, they bought hundreds of school buses, and somebody was posting it, the school buses on social media. Look at the school buses, all of them lie in ruins. You remember those red?
Yeah, I remember them very well.
So, and I asked the person, so who are the drivers? Who are the conductors? Who were the mechanics? So if you check the vouchers, people would have collected things to fix them, but they were not fixed. And now the question is, people say, oh, you need to buy buses for people. You can buy buses 10,000 times. But if the attitude is not correct to handle these buses, things will. So that behavioral economic consideration is what needs to be injected in the minds of people. Else, trust me, we are making a mistake.
Wow. So the culture of, can I call it maintenance?
Culture of maintenance and the culture of, well, the maintenance is one, honesty is two.
Okay.
Because you can maintain, but you're not doing the right maintenance.
You're doing the right thing. That's right. You are correct. You are very well correct. Well, listeners, very short, we'll open the phone line. Maybe you have a question to ask or you want to comment on what we are discussing today. Yes, sir. So you said, of course, Fleming and myself have had some influence on your life, which you've already explained to us. Is there anything you want to add to it?
Yes. So one thing I said, I can still remember. So there is one big advantage that you as an individual have on us all. First of all, I would say my life when I was in secondary school changed because of you. Wow. I remember when Evelyn Hamilton,
yes,
Australia came with me to Fleming. We were in Scripture Union, and I attended here for some time, and I got you. Then you were trying to establish the church, and your life became connected. So we always wanted to transform, and you made us believe that you have to struggle before you stand. And at times people don't know your story. So somebody said, oh, Lakkoh, you have to organize yourself better. You're everywhere. But I'm everywhere, but I'm doing everything.
Thank you.
So don't stop me to multitask. The focus is look at my output. Why would you want to stop me when they get? So examine by my output, and I have to continue to be everywhere. And I think that's what you also demonstrated. And you also, when I was going astray at that early days in secondary school, my uncle, who you also transformed. I believe that when my uncle came to town, he was not the person he was.
Yes.
Until when he came to Fleming, he became who he was. So he was always in the house praying. So they taught us, my mom attended Jesus is Lord. So we had a habit of prayer, and we will now look at the Bible and pray, and we are coming, listen to the sermon. Young enough to have personal contact with you, but I was always talking to you. I'd always had an encounter, introducing myself to you, talk to me. There were so many people around you, but we got ourselves connected to the things you did. And when I can also remember, you're always willing. You are one of the people that are always forced to go out there when things happen, like if there is, what would I say, environmental challenging issues, emergency issues, mudslide, fire. You always go out there and try to associate. So you see yourself as a humanitarian because of what you went through.
Yeah, definitely.
So you did not just
with others.
Yes, you
exactly.
can. So you became connected to the people out there. So we also wanted that connection.
Wow.
I don't have the calling to become a pastor. I am not going to become a pastor because that's a special calling. That's a very difficult thing.
It is.
Yes. So I want to be something that I'm becoming, and I'm sure in becoming that I'll be able to complement the people that God has given the call to be pastors and bishop. That's another thing again. It's not everybody that will become a pastor or bishop.
No.
And but this is what your church, this is what you've become to us. Okay. And we've become stronger because we've also lived by that word. And at times, you become cautious because you know that there is a God there who always wants the right thing, and you want to associate yourself. Mm-hmm. I have never in my life and will never consult anything that is not meant to be biblical. I will never in my life.
So you align your principle with the word of God? Completely.
The day I will go to Moreman or anything to achieve anything or any false prophet, I've told God that they punish me. I will not. In fact, even to involve in bad things to make money. Because, you have to work hard. That's the consideration. Okay. And you don't. There are a lot of things. We've met a lot of people with principles. And trust me, you stand to change this country.
Wow.
And I'm sure
this
your media empire will also play a role. I see that day when you'll replace people like TB Joshua to preach around this wall and change people.
Wow.
I'm seeing this TV as that.
What a compliment. You are listening to Thank God for Destiny Radio, FM 94.1. Thank God for
AYV,
FM 101.6. Thank God for Universal Radio on FM 98.9. And of course, Flaming Voice of Hope, which is hosting this program today. And thank God for Facebook. Very shortly, are there comments or questions that have come in? Okay, before you go to them. Okay, need for some for us, because I want to ask Mr. Dr. Lakkoh to tell us his own concept of success.
We have a lot of messages coming in, and Concord Bonzu says, God bless you, sir. You inspired me to be who I am today by God's grace. The Lord bless and keep you in Jesus' name. Samuel Hammond say, I love this program. God bless you, Bishop.
Oh, Samuel Hammond?
Yes, sir.
That's from Sweden. Yeah, go ahead.
God bless you, Bishop. It helped me to believe in myself a year ago. Then you are doing it by preaching your humble beginning. May Michael Kano, wow. Thank you, Daddy, for such a program. Indeed, lifetime impact is making a big impact in our lives. As long as you have discipline, you can be a success. Discipline is what makes you do everything you need to do. Is quoting the dogs. Isaiah Sahid Sise, thank you, Daddy, for such an impact. No doubt about Dr. Lakkoh, because he has been of motivation to many and is a true example of someone who always believes in making mark. I'm seeing a great future in you. As a martial arts in the studio, please don't show the skills in the studio, cause I'm worried for my bishop and my studio manager. God bless you, Daddy, and Dr. Lakkoh. Amadou Kenka Kamara.
Oh, that's your uncle. That's my uncle. That's his uncle. You know, I have to pay his fees at IPAM.
Wow, okay.
Yes, I pay his fees at IPAM. Go ahead.
We are proud of you, our doctor. The sky is your limit. And Ivan Wilson is a very inspiring Dr. Lakkoh.
Ivan.
From Idle Street.
So he was one of my karate teachers. He's not a pastor.
Yes, Reverend Ivan Wilson. Charles Conte, quite impactful. Dr. Lakkoh is an inspiration.
Acting Deputy Director at Ministry of Finance. Go ahead, yes.
Winnie Wonder Wilson saying, good to be here again. That's what we have for now.
That's Admiration's wife. Okay, that's wow. What a positive comment. Doctor, what's your concept about success? If you have to ask you, how you concept?
So before I comment seriously, Ivan Wilson, Pastor Reverend, I told him to invite me to his church. Ivan has been this fervent Christian and person, and also he is also, we're always doing karate. in school.
Wow.
So I'm very happy he's also listening. Okay, so success is a very interesting thing. So I tell people, at times it's difficult. People don't know what it means to succeed. Most people think success is the amount of money you have.
Okay.
So to me, the biggest thing about success is the impact. It's what you have built in you that you are able to impact on somebody else and make a change in other people.
Wow.
So you don't succeed if you are comfortable and people around you are suffering.
Ooh.
Yes, so because their discomfort will also affect you. If it doesn't affect you emotionally, then you are not a successful person. So that's why at times people are willing to be, at times it's surprising when people are willing to be so corrupt, when that corruption will extend to the suffering of other people. At times, so even in examination, at times I'm so surprised why people are willing to collect money and deprive other people from educational success, when that also will destroy them. At times I wonder why people will say, okay, request sex for greed, when that thing will impact negatively on other people.
Wow.
So people can come close to you, they will believe in you without you asking them for money. So I'll tell you a story, not that I am. Okay, I've seen people doing very difficult questions just to let people find it so difficult. So at the end of the day, they will come to them.
Okay.
You understand? That is not how people. So you create a situation where people will think. At times, people simple things that will make them think. They will think it's difficult. I did an examination question, which is so simple. But because I am asking you to think out of your mind and write, education is not the number of books you read and how you memorize them. It's how you're able to understand simple things and translate them to your own. If you're not, then you're not educated. It's not how you memorize philosophy, anthology, entomology, sociology. No, it's how you're able to make use of them. So that's the same story. So I had a conversation with my dad this morning, and we are talking about this issue of success, interestingly, and how you're able to make impact on other people. So, and if I am able to go to church and create a change in other people, and they are able to feel happy after that, then I'm successful.
Wow.
So, yes, I can buy a car. I want the best car, Bishop. I want the best house. I want the best phone if I have them. Okay. So this should not diminish your intention to have the best, because as Christians also we should have the best. So but I am also, you can also be successful if you are able to master your skill. And I met a young guy who is dealing with cameras. He so love cameras, taking videos, editing them and showing. When he looks at his products, and that's what makes him happy. So happiness is it doesn't depend on the amount of riches around you. It depends on how you are able to receive it. That's why the guy said, the author of that book said, poverty is a choice. He said, if you take $100,000 and put it in a bag and drop it in the middle of a village where this woman is farming, that old mom, if she sees it, she will run. She will even call the police that I've seen a lot of money in the bush. You understand, sir?
Yes.
But the people who have more of it will even take it and kill somebody for that $100,000. So is that success? So your phone that you have, your everything around you is not success. Excellence, exposure, quality education, lot of things that will enable to translate to other people is what makes you succeed. Most of the people that we are talking about today that have succeeded, we are not judged by by the amount they have, by the riches they have, but because they were able to go there. So people don't know why I always wanted to go very close to Mosigi, apart from the fact that he helped pay part of my PhD fee. He never knew me. He had me on the radio as I'm talking now. He had me when I was president of NUSA and said, who is this Ezekiel Lakkoh guy? Bring him. And he brought me to our wall, and he started encouraging me. He said, I like education, so he will help me along. So that's how I got to know him. But I love him because with all he had, he was always down there, trying to associate himself with people that don't have. You see Mosigi in the middle of a crowd where there are poor people, and he always believed that these people are poor because they had suffered. He saw them. So as a matter of advice, if you want to succeed, then what you have also try to make sure other people have access to it. Not the wrong people, but the right people that will also be able to cascade that's your success stories to other people.
You said something that is very, very strong, Dr. Lakkoh. Although you said definitely you didn't use IPAM as a case study, but you said there are people who are corrupt, lecturers who are corrupt, who will trade sex for marks, who will trade money. I think we need people like you in a society, people who are very scrupulous, who will stand for the truth. Because I've got complaints, from some of my daughters. Some lecturers are coercing them. So if you don't go to bed with me, I won't give you the marks. So what like people like you that in society that we are looking forward to, people who stand for the truth, people who have conviction, people who have, you have the feeling that you have a sister, you have a daughter, that you should not hurt another one's daughter or sister. I like that one.
So let me speak to this. This is an issue I want us to talk about very seriously. So first of all, the good news is that IPAM, we are able to, we have understood ourselves.
Okay.
I'm sure what we have there is we now have a set of people who understand that we need to have quality education by passing it to the students.
Okay.
So I want to give lots of people that's accolade now.
Okay.
I think when I became dean, that was something we emphasized. One thing that I did, we have a form in the office.
Okay.
If you have a problem, you can apply for a remark of your script. Okay. That is a game changer. Oh. It have been there, people have been doing it, but we made it so conspicuous.
Okay.
And we go around, people know. As I speak now, you see lots of people asking for remarking of their script. Some people will remark. So the problem is, but if you ask for remark, everybody I feel will have to come again for remark. So if you ask for remark of your script, you have to pay 250,000 for remark. Yes. That is if you have to be sure. And if we remark and you pass, the money will be refunded.
Okay.
So you have to be sure to call for remark.
Wow.
And when you ask for remark, the lecturer that marked your script will not even be consulted. We'll give it to another lecturer. Some people will ask for remark 2 times. We'll give it to another lecturer. We can even take it. So we've done it several times. I can now, if you go to my office now, I'll show you lots of people whose paper have been remarked. Oh. So now you have an opportunity. So that's why at times some people will say, "Now picking they been failed, but he don't pass," because they went and asked for remark. Okay. And we genuinely remark, and now they have gone. So if you have a problem, you can ask for remark. I think that is the biggest remedy that I've got. But again, I am not going to, because there is no account, there is no justification for you to tell a person that if you don't sleep with me or give me money, you will not pass. Okay. There can never be, even when the student wanted it. Because you have a fiduciary relationship above the students, you have to know better. Mm-hmm. Because the stories that are there, if I want to tell my story, trust me, it is big. But there are times when, so this is another advice again to the students. You know where this thing started? It started from primary school. Okay. When teachers started asking students to come with cane and 5,000 every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So you created a transaction relationship between student and teacher. Okay. So the students started transacting. Mm-hmm. So you went to secondary school when you say, if you don't attend my lesson, you will not pass my subject. Wow. So students feel now that I have to attend this lesson to pass. So that diminishes your concentration. Even though teachers are going through a lot again in this country because they have to be paid. Their names have to go to the voucher. And I'm happy the progress that government is trying to make to get nurses and teachers' name on the voucher, because that will also help them. Teachers they have to pay teachers. But that's not a justification. If you know you cannot teach, don't go and say, okay, you can take somebody lesson. I take my child to a teacher for lesson. But it has to be ethically conducted so that don't disadvantage those that cannot attend your lesson. Because listen to my story now. I didn't have money to attend lesson. I never attended lesson in my life. So if there are people who cannot, okay, so don't judge them, don't discriminate them, don't segregate them based on their ability to pay. Or based on how beautiful they are or what they have to offer. Let's create the same platform for everybody. Wow. So therefore, you'll be able to, I know somebody who's very close to me who repeated. And when the person repeated, everybody will say, hey, Lakkoh to this extent, that you repeat. So that's the story. The reason why I'm saying this, because why should the person not repeat? To me, repeat is not failure. You have to learn to succeed. So again, because lots of other people again in university will opt to be treated that way. So the way I tell people, even the way you dress to go to class, your personal, because they are women, they are female students who lecturers will never go close to. If you go close to them, it's for serious reasons,
Okay.
and have serious discussions. I have students who have been my own mentor. I look at them, I like how they conduct themselves, and they become friends to you.
Okay.
You understand, sir? So make yourself that person, study, get D. If you graduate D, and third class. Our presidents in this country do not have first class. They all but see what they became. It doesn't mean that if you have first class, you are more intelligent. No way.
Wow, what award. Wow, yeah. I know people have been benefiting tremendously.
Yeah, because we have even misplaced the issue of yes. education. Who told you? So this is, I have PhD, but I've listened to people with diploma who have learned from. Because PhD is just reading of books that somebody have. Okay, I've written books. So that's what I was telling you. Do you know why you were honored with a doctorate? Because you don't need to write. In fact, the most important doctorate degree is somebody who honored you because of the impact you've already created.
You know, I've got 4 doctorates now.
Yes.
Oh,
you know why?
Yes.
Because the impact is why you are even writing the thesis. Because the thesis is you are writing it to examine what is not there. Ooh. But if you are now able to bring it out,
yes.
You understand? You did not write it, but you brought it out in a way that you already made the impact. Why should you have to write it?
Oh my goodness me!
So we have misplaced education. What is the education of the carpenter, the education of the masoner, the education of the welder? These are very important. Do you know that in Sierra Leone there is a gap now? Everybody wants to become this top notch, and we want to become this, and now there is a gap in the middle class. And the middle level education. And that middle level education is where economic development translates. That's where the transmission mechanism is. When we wanted furniture at IPAM, it was a Lebanese company that made all the company. Okay, they are doing well. To me, I consider them as Sierra Leoneans. Take them out of the economy and see what we become. So they are important. They are Sierra Leoneans. They are part of what we should encourage them. But this is why can't we have engineers from Fobe College who now say, I'm going to open my carpenter workshop. All these drawings that I've learned, I'm going to design chairs and supply framing. I'm going to make it exactly as the chair. So this is go to other African countries. You see somebody with a very big garage. We don't have that garage as big as your compound. Where I bring my car, I will know that nobody will take anything. I will pay for diagnosis and leave my car. After 1 week, I will come and collect it. There are people who are willing to pay. And this is what Lebanese people are making now out of this economy.
Definitely.
And we have abandoned that because of status.
Status. I like that.
Everybody studied agriculture, but nobody is in the farm. Except few people are trying to go back here. But this is it. So this status issue is really a problem.
Wow. Thank you very much, Dr.
Yes.
Dr. Lakkoh. You can call us on 075 000-937.
I have a lot of messages.
A lot of messages. Oh, you're going to read it for us, please. 075 000-937, or send a text to 078-861-497, 078-861-497, WhatsApp text, or send your text to this number. Okay, Dr. Duramany Lakkoh, let's hear what you have.
The problem is they're on WhatsApp and they're so scattered. Yes, my boss, you're doing a very good job. God bless you. I don't know this person. Oh, yes, this is Polo. His name is Polo. Okay. I don't know his real name, but he's Polo. He's a very good old friend of mine. Okay. I have lots of them on WhatsApp. Wow, Dr. Lakkoh and Bishop. Congratulations. This is inspiring. We are listening to you, sir. Thanks for the inspiration and congratulations. Okay.
Oh, wow. It's interesting.
So, yeah, Facebook, the groups are coming up and it's difficult to. Okay.
All right. So, manager, before Dr. Lakkoh gives us his last word, so at least you inspire those who think that they are destined to be a failure in life. They are destined, society or God has destined to be a failure in life. So I want him to talk to them to debunk these wrong notions. Before he does that, do you have any other comment that has come?
Yeah, we have about 3 comments. Apostle Ansumana Saidu thanks Doc
Okay, never.
and my bishop. I'm highly impressed, sirs. Donald Bestman saying, more,
USA.
yes sir, more grace, Papa. Christiana Crab saying, thank you, my daddy, for availing yourself.
Thank you very much. This is a program that is designed to inspire you so that you too can make impact in life. We've got people who have come in here, people from the political spectrum, people from religious people, we've got people from the business world like Joabas, parliamentarians, Honorable Abdul Samasandi, Kazabama. We've got people who are coming up to Bishop Achiboko, Bishop Tayo, Bishop Laga, Bishop Obot, and a handful of them. So I believe you have been tremendously blessed. Dr. Lakkoh, can you give us your last word so that at least you can talk to people and try to ignite the flame within them?
Okay, so,
Success, yeah.
so thank you very much. This is very important, and from the depth of my heart, I think we all have a role to play in our society, and we all have a future. And to a greater extent, our future depends on our attitude. So somebody said your attitude determines your altitude.
Okay.
And where you get your attitude from is what is important. And so first of all, if God himself does not build your house, it's to no avail that you work hard on it. So everything that you do, you make sure it is supported by the will and glory of God, or else nothing will happen. Life is very challenging, and that's where I want to come. It's very challenging. So it doesn't mean if you're a Christian, you don't have challenges. You have. Even Jesus Christ met a lot of challenges. That's why the Bible says the road to success, the road to heaven is rough, is rugged, and is turbulent. And so if you have to succeed, you have to endure some of these challenges. And if you're going through these challenges now, don't give up. Because lots of things will come. People will even make you to believe that, oh, there is a quick way to get out of it, and you go to the world out there, lots of things are happening, people are making it, people think, oh, you have to go there and get new type of friends. Remember when I told you when I was in secondary school, I had new set of friends that were completely leading me astray. And I was not going to be the Lakkoh that you know today. I would have been somewhere in the middle of something, or who knows, probably I would not have been alive, in fact.
The karate master.
Yeah.
Karate master.
Yes,
Yeah,
master, who ended up being nothing. But guess what? I learned from my mistake, and I had people who came. I thought these people were bad, but they actually brought me back, and I believed that, okay, I need to do the right thing. And I struggled through doing the right thing. So when you struggle, if you go and try, and you have to endure, that's the word. When you struggle, you don't stop midway. You have to endure to the end. And when you're struggling, people will misunderstand you. People will say things about you. And when you are even people, men of God, they always receive these challenges. People will say things, but continue to endure. And at the end of the day, you will be able to make the right decisions and take the right actions. And then you end up becoming what you exactly want to be. Always have a plan. Make sure you have a plan of what you want to be, and then you become what you want to be. There is this song I learned. From this, it's American Got Talent, and I saw a young man sang it, and even when I'm in class, I used to sing it. My students were always laughing. He say, yes, he say, in this wisdom, come and go. Take the shot that you never know. Your heart will tell you when it's time to move. Take the shot that you never knew. When it storms, when it rains, it come on us all the same. But after today, your life will never be the same. So it's on YouTube. So you see, there are always storm. There is always going to be some difficult time.
Definitely.
And don't give up because there is difficult time. Who told you that the people that you're seeing have succeeded easily? They all went through the storm. So this is your storm. Endure it, and your time will come.
Wow. So to every glory, there's a story.
Exactly.
To every success, there's a story. Wow. That's how we really cut it down. I enjoy the way you sang. I think you play keyboard in the church, right?
I'm an organist.
You're an organist?
Complete one.
Complete organist.
Yes, sir.
So you can give music.
Not this. I cannot vamp. I can read and play.
Hey. Wow. You are gifted. In fact, the way you sing, if I should have,
I can sing.
sang here today,
I can train your choir.
You can sing my choir.
I can.
Okay, well, I think,
That's my other gift.
okay, I want to invite you. I'll talk to
Yes,
my
let
choir
me
director.
teach them a very beautiful song and they administer it. You'll enjoy it.
I will enjoy it. That's interesting. That's Lakkoh, you can sing. I can sing. If I sing here now,
In fact, just give me one verse and tell me to do an anniversary song.
is that so?
Yes.
Okay, our convention is coming up in January.
Yes.
So I'll talk with my choir director.
Thank
so
you,
to see how he can liaise with you and get something out of it.
Thank you.
Wow,
I'm so
thank you
pleased.
very much, Dr. Lakkoh. It's good to have you today as my special guest. And from the comments we've already received, I know people have been impacted tremendously. We are grateful to you. We are thankful to Mr. Junior Navo. He's my very personal friend. He's come to my house, come to my office. I've gone to see him as well. We thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Paris, for making your station available. Thank you, Bishop Laga, for Radio Destiny Radio. Thank you, Mr. Navo, for AYV. And this media guy here at Fleming. This man is trying to become a medical doctor. You see? And we have so many of them here, photographers. Thank you very much for your service, station manager. We are tremendously blessed. So that's how we do the cutting down. Have a blessed day, and thank you once again. Goodbye. I'm Bishop Dr. Frederick Abubakar Siddiqui Sulaiman Koroma. Bye-bye.
So